Hello, my name is Dr. Deborah Whitmoyer. My mother thought that I was going to be a boy, so she did not have a name picked out for me. She decided to name me after her favorite female in the Bible, so here I am. I believe it is a much better choice than Donald Jr. When I married, my in laws were German and Norwegian. The Norwegians are second and third generations. They still make lefse, or flatbread, and would eat blood sausage and potato dumplings. They are farmers in North Dakota and still swear in Norwegian. I am now divorced, and my current boyfriend is Scottish. His grandparents, many removed, had the Drum Castle in Scotland. While it is no longer still in the family, they are proud of their heritage. My maiden name is Schaefer, and my mother's maiden name is Scheer. Both sides of my family originated from the southwest region of Germany. Various spellings of both names have been found throughout the family tree. I have identified a couple of the different spellings on this slide. These anomalies in spellings could be because no one ever saw the names in print, and so when the names were recorded, it was up to the person doing the recording to spell them as they thought they should be spelled. Once arriving in North America, both sides of my family lived in the central Pennsylvania region. We followed the Pennsylvania Dutch tradition in my family, and you can still find aspects of this in our daily lives. Our food is very lightly seasoned, and we eat traditional foods such as hog maw, otherwise known as pig stomach, and pawnhaas, more commonly referred to as scrapple. Garden vegetables and butchered meats grown on local farms make up the basic diet of the people in this region. For religion, the Pennsylvania Dutch originate from Germany, so most practice Lutheran, but there are also some Church of the Brethren followers. Hex signs are common on the doors and in the kitchens of the elders in the community. This is a type of art, and the door signs often say welcome. I grew up on a farm and went to rural schools. My dad can remember going to a school in a one-room schoolhouse. While not my dad's, the schoolhouse pictured looks very much like his. He and my mom attended the new high school, which was called Perry Joint, and it combined the local rural schools over 325 square miles into one. My high school graduating class held about 150 students, all white and no Hispanic students. We did have a Spanish teacher from Puerto Rico. She was my first encounter with someone who spoke Spanish fluently. In high school, I studied 4 years of French with a teacher who learned French as an adult as a second language. I learned quite a bit of vocabulary and how to conjugate verbs. I was not a strong writer or speaker. As a junior, I went on a trip to Morocco, Portugal, and Spain with the Spanish French Club. This was quite an eye-opener for the country girl I was. It opened up a whole new world for me. I was able to get around with the minimal language basics I had. In college, I placed into a 200 level French class. No idea how. I struggled, but I bought the books we were reading in English so I could translate quickly and keep up. This did not help my fluency. Over the next 25 years, I traveled frequently. I took a class in educational leadership in Ireland. I cruised through the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean and met all sorts of interesting people with stories to tell. Around 5 years ago, I decided I wanted to move from rural Pennsylvania to a large city, and I thought I should prepare myself by learning Spanish. I spent a summer in Costa Rica in a little town called Nicoya. Nicoya is a blue zone. This is one of the 6 places in the world in which people live the longest. Nicoya historically did not have any paved roads leading to it from the city of Liberia, Costa Rica. This kept the town very dependent on historical farming practices of the native cultures. There are no fast food restaurants and only one grocery store. The bread and treats are homemade daily on site, and delicious fruit concoctions are available throughout the town. I do not believe that Nicoya will hold on to its title because a paved road now connects the city with the town. A Kentucky Fried Chicken is located about 4 miles outside of town, and I'm sure more outside influences of quick, unhealthy food won't be far behind. I received an offer to teach social studies classes for the Clark County School District. Once I arrived, I realized the school needed a boys soccer coach. In the past, I coached field hockey and soccer, so I thought I knew what to expect. I applied for and received the job. This coaching position was like no other that I had done before. The boys had been playing soccer since they could walk, and all of them were fluent speakers of Spanish. I learned very quickly that my Spanish was not up to par. They spoke very quickly and used a lot of slang. Their parents were not English speakers, so the boys were often primary translators for their parents at school for their younger siblings, at the bank, and other places where a translator was needed. They shouldered a lot of responsibility for their families. Their income from part time jobs was often used to help pay bills within the household, also. The east side of Vegas is very bilingual, and the parents learned just enough English to get them by at their jobs. What have I learned about culture? I believe that people who are close to their country of origin and family maintain greater aspects of their original cultures than others. New immigrants are more likely to speak their country of origin's language, practice an historical religion, eat food, and create art that reflects their recently removed country's culture, and maintain their historical values. Respect in the classroom needs to be shown to students who are new to the United States. They are bringing unique experiences which sometimes do not have a setting in their newly adopted country. Frustration can be imminent for students who are struggling to fit in and learn a new language, and still be needed to confidently navigate this new society for their parents. Discovering how difficult it was for me to learn a new language allows me to be empathetic for their circumstances. The values I was raised with are embedded in my life: work hard, be on time, help others, and the importance of education. People around me did not share these same values because of the impact their families, friends, and others had on their upbringings. I noticed my adult children emulating the values I instilled in them growing up. They work hard, hate to be late, help those around them in need, and are lifelong learners. It is sometimes frustrating when surrounded by people who do not share the same values, but that is what makes each of us unique. Each person brings something to the table, and we can learn to respect each other's values. If we were all the same, this would be very boring indeed. I love to hear other people's stories about how they got to where they are. We are all in the same space, but each of us took a different path to get here, and I find those paths fascinating. As my experience has shown, I have difficulty picking up additional languages. I love learning new cultural dances, supporting the arts, and delving into the history of communities. I believe my thirst for knowledge and acknowledgement of language learning issues helps ease my students' concerns about their lack of language comprehension abilities. I cannot roll my R's in Spanish, and my pronunciation of words in French leaves a lot to be desired, but I am open and honest about this, and my students seem to respond well to my weaknesses.